But first, my thoughts at the end of day 35, America in shutdown. Democrats taking the viral path to socialism. You feel it, don't you? And you see it, you sense it. There's a growing divide in America in this COVID-19 era. And I'm not talking about rich versus poor or black versus white or even red state versus blue state. I'm talking about the growing tension between the Open Now coalition versus the Stay Closed and Perpetuity contingent. Now, the Angle told you weeks ago that if people began to see the government's response to the coronavirus as more toxic than the virus itself, well, things would start to get heated. That's what we've been seeing over the past week or so.
People are starting to die because of the economy.
I'm protesting the slow erosion of our rights.
We're just here for our freedoms. People need to get back to work.
It's about your constitutional rights.
We're being muzzled by the government, and don't let the mask that you wear turn into that muzzle.
And the president even chimed in yesterday.
People feel that way. You're allowed to protest. I mean, they feel that way. I watched the protest, and they were all 6 feet apart. I mean, it was a very orderly group of people. But, you know, some have gone too far. Some governors have gone too far.
Now, the folks protesting the stay-at-home orders are mostly small business owners, their moms, their dads, students even, who are seeing their futures go down the drain. Of course they're worried about their fellow man. Of course they want to keep the vulnerable, the elderly, safe and secure. But they also complain about needless and arbitrary rules that declare bike stores essential, but not churches. Now, this video was probably one of the more disturbing visuals from the last weekend. Officials in San Clemente poured 37 tons of sand into Ralph's skate court after skateboarders were caught routinely ignoring the no trespassing signs. Now, come on, this is kind of pathetic, don't you think? Are teens getting sunshine and zooming past each other really the problem here, the big threat to civilization? I guess maybe, I don't know. But over the weekend, we learned that government researchers have found that simulated sunlight rapidly killed the virus and aerosols. Sunlight could actually kill it. Like Mom always said, fresh air and sunshine really is the best disinfectant. But even if you who do socially distance in California, remember, you socially distance, but you can still be snitched upon.
If you've observed recurring violations of the Safer at Home order, please continue to let us know at coronavirus.lacity.org/business-violation. You know the old expression about snitches? Well, in this case, snitches get rewards.
Snitches get rewards. That one comment told you everything you need to know about how far elected officials are actually willing to go to enforce a new normal, a phrase I despise, because a new normal means civil liberties be damned. But even when snitches aren't snitching, watch yourselves, because drones are flying overhead.
The drones make it easier for police to see into certain areas where access by patrol cars is more difficult.
That includes tight spaces between buildings, behind schools, and in backyards. The drones donated by DJI, a Chinese company, have gone to 43 agencies in 22 states.
Chinese affiliated drone company. I mean, to that, I'm not saying, oh, brother, I say, oh, big brother. Now, beyond the noble motives of keeping Americans safe and free at the same time is the ignoble goal of using this crisis to remake American society according to more progressive ideals.
Let's use this situation, this crisis, this time, to actually learn the lessons, value from the reflection, and let's reimagine what we want society to be. How do we have a better transportation system, a better housing system, better public safety system, better health system, better social equity? And let's use this as a moment to really plan change that we could normally never do unless you had this situation.
Oh, that's it. Change you could never do if you actually had to run it by the state legislature, perhaps. Or maybe he's just talking about improving the state government's response to future, heaven forbid, pandemics. That would be fine. Well, that would also require taking a hard look at why your state budgeters nixed ventilators in favor of social welfare projects. Meanwhile, you get the sense that someone out there is feeling a little left out in this COVID crisis because she's streaming up a storm on Instagram.
Incrementalism is not helpful in this moment. We have to make sure that we demand meaningful change and meaningful assistance for working families. That means $2,000 a month plus $1,000 for your kids recurring.
That's a pretty good amount. $2,000 a month. Why stop at $5,000 a week? Do I hear $6,000? All right, on the left coast, though, they're not about to be outdone by the New Yorkers because Governor Gavin Newsom has his own ideas about how to use the shutdown to open up a path of new climate change policies. His new task force will be headed by none other than, drumroll please, that everyman, Tom Steyer, the billionaire who believes in banning fossil fuels, a wealth tax, and slavery reparations. He says the goal of the task force is to recover as fast and as safely as possible from the COVID-19-induced recession and to create a fair, green, and prosperous future that remedies some of the injustices which this COVID-19 pandemic has revealed in our society. This pandemic has revealed a lot, all right, about China, about state preparedness, about the ineptitude of the CDC, and about Democrats' unwillingness to tolerate dissent. Because if you're someone who believes the shutdowns in most states now are hurting in many cases more than helping, well, you're going to be labeled a pariah and anti-science. And heaven forbid if you choose to exercise your First Amendment rights to peaceably protest.
With somebody trying to organize something like that, does that qualify as harmful information?
We do classify that as harmful misinformation, and we take that down. So I think a lot of the stuff that people are saying that is false around a health emergency like this can be classified as harmful misinformation.
Harmful misinformation. Now, what's more true here? New York will need 30,000 ventilators? That's sparked a lot of panic, right? Was that harmful? Or this?
I think it was the worst, probably the worst week of my life. Pretty much looking at possibly losing everything we've worked for.
The first week we have lost already 80% of our inventory.
Right now we're at zero everywhere. I mean, no one's, it's even worse than I would have guessed.
So if those folks wanted to show up and peacefully protest, that would be part of the harmful disinformation campaign that's been taken down from Facebook. I need the new rules. So snitching, spying with drones, limiting speech, chasing surfers off beaches or skateboarders out of skate parks, where there are proportionally, very few COVID cases. None of that sounds very healing to me. And those are my thoughts at the end of day 35, America in shutdown.